Japan's candy aisle just became a science experiment and the results were kind of incredible. Petagoo gummies. Flat little alien guys that always looked a bit plain to me. They claim to be a new species of gummy from deep space, complete with likes and dislikes on the back. But honestly, they're less alien hominid and more melancholic ghost that likes lying on the floor. Texture-wise, they're like someone flattened a Haribo gummy. Pineapple's tangy, soda has that citrus bubblegum thing going on, and grape is getting picked last again. But I discovered a hack online. Soak them in soda, then freeze them. I use Mitsuya cider, lemon lime, kinda like Sprite. Fan favorite Kalpas, think yogurt soda, and grape squash, Japan's stand-in for grape Kool-Aid. After 24 hours of soaking, they doubled in size. Soft, jelly-like, kinda weird, and almost slimy. But once you freeze them, everything changes. Grape turned both bold and tart, like a juicy frozen fruit pop. Pineapple went creamy, almost like a bite-sized pina colada. Then soda finishes with a sharp citrus crunch on the outside with a softer jelly interior. Still no signs of intelligent life, but now they're tasty summer treats. If your beans are looking a little sugary, you might already be in Japan's candy aisle. Straight out of Tohoku, Zunda Shake Gummies. From the konbini no one ever seems to talk about, New Days. Zunda is a traditional Japanese paste made from crushed edamame with some added sweetness. Blend the superfood right into a creamy shake and you've got a winning combo, irresistible to both me and the Phantom Thieves dessert expert. With all these regional specialty gummies, it's really only a matter of time till we get meat from Kobe. Edamame for scale. It's sweet, yet at the same time, grassy, nutty, and mellow, but it only has a faint whisper of vanilla right at the end. The gummies have a dry, starchy outer coat and a chewy texture that feels almost mochi adjacent. But the issue is it's missing that sweet, creamy, punchy vanilla of the shake it so desperately wants to be. So you think you're tough enough to handle Japan's #1 cube, straight out of the candy aisle, Tough Gummy, touting high elasticity and absolutely drenched in sour powder goodness. It claims to be #1 based on a 2022 survey asking which candy would help you concentrate, which is about as helpful as the Stanley Parable Adventure line. First up, the OG Trio, simply called energy drink. Red Bull's weird cousin with citrus and a sweet chemical taste. Cola, classic but extra tangy thanks to the sour coating. Ramune, lemon and lime, book a hotel room, and bubblegum gets the weird single chair in the corner. Then there's a whole bag dedicated to bouncy muscat. Extremely pungent, fruity, dry, and complemented by sourness. Things take a turn for the weird with Lemon Rush, featuring both Lemon Alpha and Lemon Beta. Lemon Alpha is a bold, bright lemon and probably has its own podcast, while Lemon Beta is bitter, herbal, and tastes like someone mixed tonic water with lime. Not a flavor I ever expected in gummy form, and surprisingly these aren't too tough, still a satisfying chew. Easily belongs in my top 10 according to my 2025 survey. Today we're going back to the chewy foundations of Japan's candy aisle. Haichu Premium. 50 years of juicy Haichu, but somehow I've never tried the premium version, and Family Mart always stocks the ones I'm the least excited for. But you know what they say, don't judge a stoat by its stats. First up, Shine Muscat, promising to be both chewy and juicy. A firm candy shell, almost like the satisfying first crack of a gumball. But inside, the stretchiest taffy known to man, please send help. Flavor-wise, only mildly sweet, the closest a grape has ever gotten to pretending it's an apple. Next, Kyoho Grape, the yin to Muscat's yang. Kyoho literally meaning giant mountain, and the flavor hits like one. Think bold grape soda, but better balance between rich sweetness and a sharp acidity. A trusted source of mine that likes purple grape confirms this one's fantastic. Finally, Yogurt, chewy, creamy, and tangy with just a little bit of sourness. Definitely the best of the bunch, and while the flavor lineup is kinda limited, the textures where these leave regular Haichu in the dust, and I don't know if I can go back. What do you mean Japan's top-selling gummy isn't even from the candy aisle? Gatsun to Mikan Gummy, tiny tribute to a frozen legend that's been chilling out for 48 years. A student born from the icy depths of the dessert aisle. It's Gummy versus Popsicle, a crossover to rival the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour. Starting with the OG Gatsun to Mikan, made with 40% juice, the other 60% is a percentage. Tastes exactly like an orange juice popsicle you made in an ice cube tray back in 3rd grade. And once you hit the core, you're greeted by actual juicy slices. It's a tough act to follow, but these gummies supposedly topped Japan's April sales chart for a reason, with a chance for some pieces to become a big shot whole slice. And in over 50 videos, I've yet to try a gummy quite like this. The outer shell is a thick matte coating, almost like a semi-firm rind. Same bloodline, smaller hitbox, but the slice size is shockingly on point. Tear it open and you're hit with a thick burst of orange jelly. Similar sweet orange to the actual popsicle, but the gummies are tiny, juicy, and packed with dual textures that are extremely extremely satisfying. Enough to finally step out of the shadow of their popsicle father. Turns out you don't need iced tea, Japan's favorite kind of ice. You just need the candy aisle. Shaved ice and watermelon, Japan's go-to for summer. Showing up every year like beach trips and cicadas, now in gummy form. Starting with watermelon. Shaped like Bill's cipher with an extra dimension. Soft, sugar-coated, and surprisingly mellow. That subtle flavor is balanced by just a touch of salt. Like Sour Patch watermelon, but without the hot and cold attitude. Missed opportunity for fake candy seeds. Now for some much-needed texture in 2 different forms. This little guy stole my eyes. Kakigori. Think snow cone, but fluffier. 3 flavors across 2 different icy textures. First up, lemon. The sugar shards hit with a satisfying icy crunch, followed by a sharp citrus kick. Out of all the soda gummies, I've not had one quite as subtle as this one. Soda's doing its best to be noticed, but it's only a faint citrus with a bubblegum finish, mostly lost to Crunch City. Meanwhile, Princess Beach over here thinks she's being fancy, a strawberry too refined for Jagged Cube. A crisp, uniform coating with a flavor balance between sweet and tart. On one hand, it defeats the point of the gummy, on the other, you get the best of both textures. Thanks to Japan's candy aisle, I can now eat their frosty island in one bite. From the land of cows, cream, and blizzards, Hokkaido Gummy. Hokkaido is Japan's dairy capital, home to half the country's milk and one very territorial bear named Yamaoroshi. 9 times out of 10 you buy dairy in Japan, they will proudly display milk from Hokkaido, and 9 times out of 10 it's extremely delicious. On top of that, these gummies were flown down by a very polite bird, so I've got high hope. Lake Buell gummies may still win for weirdest shape, but these are definitely podium material. A once-in-a-lifetime view of the backside of Hokkaido, or depending on your moral alignment, something else entirely. Soft and pillowy, like a marshmallow wrapped in starch-dusted cloud. White soft serve usually screams vanilla to me, but this milk soft cream flavor is nowhere close. Like biting into a weird block of milk. It's semi-dense, chewy, and you're hit with a subtle yogurty tang that leans more sour than sweet. It's more glass of milk and hitting the Chobani than new candy aisle MVP. And maybe the first time I wish the gummy was actually sweeter, but I give them bonus points for originality. Japan's candy aisle threw me into a royal rumble, and the gummies might have actually won this time. God King Gummies. The name also uses the character for bite, so these promise king-level chewiness and possibly pain. 3 flavors forged in the fires of Mount Olympus. I fear for my mortal tongue. There's even a chance to get a premium crown-shaped gummy. A rare boon from Zagreus' cool uncle. First up, Energy Ginger Ale. Never seen this flavor in candy form. Coated in sour crystals, it hits with a jolt of sweet, spicy ginger, surprisingly delicious. Energy Cola. Most cola candy is mellow, but this one packed an uppercut that's making me think these are all caffeinated. Bold, sharp, and pleasantly spicy. A flavor simply called energy drink. Sour, citrus, and chemically chaotic. Like biting into a Red Bull that fights back, with a texture tougher than the gummies literally called tough, but not quite the hard bad. My jaw is still recovering, but despite all that, no crown in sight. While Zeus was feeling stingy today, the flavors were still strong enough to challenge even Leto's throne. Japan finally put Mumen right where he belongs. Despite being Finnish, Mumen's pretty big in Japan. A whole park, merch, and now Family Mart exclusive desserts. I didn't grow up with it, but something about Mumen's appearance makes me think Dr. Seuss Ghibli hybrid. That might be hilariously off base, so let's start with Dos Macron. That means 2 Macrons. Just chilling in front of the Windows XP wallpaper. Only thing missing is my Warcraft 3 shortcut. Mumen's repping light, creamy vanilla, surprisingly smooth for a convenience store collab. Sniff brings earthy matcha, slightly bitter, still sweet, melt in your mouth material. Or at least I thought so until this sandwich showed up. Fuamaru Sando. Feels like at least 80% of this is fluffy shiratama dough, and I quickly found out just how soft that is. Inside, tangy blueberry sauce and whipped blueberry cheese mousse, which might sound weird, but it's not savory. Think cream cheese spun into a blueberry cloud. Smooth, sweet, but almost overwhelmingly doughy in each bite. You also get one of 9 random stickers, and today's fate deems Mumen Pop-Up. Delicious desserts, but don't image search him. You gotta trust me on that. This is the closest Japan's candy aisle has ever gotten to those kind of gummies. Lazy gummies, by sloths, for sloths. Infused with GABA, which supposedly helps you chill out. Very on brand for a candy shaped like a nap enthusiast. 7 different sloth-shaped gummies, plus a rare shooting star that feels aggressively not sloth. Each pack gives you a whopping 31 milligrams of GABA. I've never had GABA before, doesn't sound like much, but if you hear Honkshu me mid-video, you'll know exactly why. And there it is, the shooting star, redeemable for a single wish. But the one I actually wanted, the slacking pose sloth, nowhere to be found. Flavor, the gentlest gummy around, in mellow muscat grape. Sweet, just a little floral with soft acidity. Texture's a nice balance of both soft and chewy. And while I'm not quite sure if the GABA worked, I'm left feeling more woo than wee. Today, Japan's candy aisle hit me with 2 extremes, both Pokemon fun, both very edible. Pure Gummies Pikachu Edition versus Ditto, a Pokemon Center exclusive. Starting with everyone's favorite electric rodent. 3 bag designs, puzzle on the back, complicated enough to make Jonathan blow sweat. Sadly, just one flavor, but inside a lineup of Pikachu-shaped gummy. The one of mine was just an egg that needed a few more steps. What they lack in variety, they make up for in sourness. Absolutely coated in sour crystals and more jelly in nature. Feels like Sour Patch Kids went on a Pokemon-sponsored tropical retreat. Hits with a fruit punch mix of pineapple and apple up front, then slides into a berry blend sweet enough to justify the vacation. Meanwhile, Ditto's doing its own thing. 6 different expressions, and the gummies exit from the bottom of the pack, but Ditto's probably used to this kind of thing. Soft and bouncy on the outside like a marshmallow with a chewy core that pushes back just enough. Faces include happy, don't feel so good, ecstatic, and I've seen 1,000 non-shiny Charmanders. Flavor caught me off guard. Grape, but not the kind I usually dread. Starts fizzy grape soda, but it's only mildly tangy, barely acidic, and finishes with a ramen-style citrus lift that's weirdly refreshing. Still partial to Pikachu, but I wouldn't call Ditto a flop. Japan's candy aisle is giving me one more chance to succeed, with Mobile Suit Gundam Karapaki. Break apart the chocolate without breaking the character, or meh. 8 different designs, 3 difficulty levels, 4 flavors, and of course, 1 secret design, and it better be Nether Gundam's giant windmill. Last time my melody may have gotten French Revolution, guillotine and all, but this time, oh hey, not Big Zam. A level 2 difficulty Gundam with a crunchy bed of rice puffs and sweet chocolate. I was so busy being focused on the thin beam sword snapping in two, I really should have. There goes the shield. Even if the sweet strawberry shield managed to survive, this one wasn't in the cards. With the warm-up over, we have level 3 difficulty Sasabi here to save the day. My main in Gundam Battle Assault, so no pressure, feeling good. Not only that, they taste great, so I can't be mad. Smooth white chocolate, mellow caramel, and a pop of sweet pink strawberry. Losing the strawberry foot may have been tragic, but it's the closest I've come to a perfect run. With the power of cute plants, Japan's candy aisle strikes again, this time right in my heart. Hiding underneath the whole kingdom of them, Pikmin gummies. Gone are the days of salmonella-flavored white Pikmin because he's been reborn as a keychain. 1 of 9, with the possibility of the glow-in-the-dark ghost. Why do they always make these so hard to take off? Now that that's over, 3 fruity flavors, starting with a soft red apple. Except maybe I'm colorblind because I swear this tastes like green apple. Tart, tangy, and just sweet enough. Purple grape absolutely blew me away. By that, I mean the flavor was faint enough that I barely had to taste it. Little acidic, little sweet. Turns out the flavor ran over to lemon, a sharp, pleasantly sour kick. Not quite the same as the actual Pikmin-shaped gummies, but these 2 keychains will have to make up for it. Starting with the OG, the only one with a nose, Mr. Red, with a 1,000-yard stare to rival Slippy. I really just wanted the ice or rock one, but ask and I shall receive. The look of a rock that's seen too much. These might qualify as the most cursed thing I've ever eaten from Japan's candy aisle. Remitan and Kobitozukan gummies. A weird late-night double feature, but instead of Brad or Janet, 2 gummies where you eat someone else's face. Starting with Remitan, a Lawson exclusive. Turns out Remy's a French-born Japanese handball player, now immortalized in gummy form for reasons I will never understand. Includes an extra 2 soda stars, light on citrus, heavy on bubblegum. And his face actually makes a pretty great gummy. Thick, stretchy, and best eaten with both flavors at once. A combo hit of tangy cola on the bottom and bright, slightly sour lemon on top. But not even Remy could save me from these strange little guys, Kobitozukan. Cursed creatures that feel like something only the creator of Seaman on the Dreamcast could have whipped up, except more garden gnome adjacent. 3 different designs, each with a slightly starchy outside, and biting in hits with a flood of very sweet, juicy peach. They're soft, chewy, and if Meat Canyon ever needs inspiration for a Pikmin short, he's probably starting here. The best place to fall asleep in Japan is, of course, the candy aisle. Let's try Sleepy Time Sanrio gummies. Made for Sanrio fans and St. Trina followers alike. Each bag comes with 2 flavors, 6 gummy shapes, and one of 15 collectible keychains. This is already the 6th time they've released this lineup, finally featuring my ride or unalive, Tuxedo Sam. Why are these so hard to remove? First flavor, white soda. Basically Japan's favorite yogurt soda, Cowpit. Creamy, slightly fizzy, sweet with a tiny citrus bite at the end that's surprisingly refreshing. Second flavor, orange. Same soft, bouncy gummy base, but the citrus hits even louder. Brighter, more acidic, and somehow tastes exactly like orange jello. Then came the real gamble, the keychain pull. Featuring not Tuxedo Sam. But at least it's an actual keychain, not a sticker I'd instantly regret sticking somewhere. Round 2, 6.6% repeating chance. Turns out, it was frogs the whole time. And I owe a frog a lot for teaching me fractions, so I'll gladly take a nap with Keropi instead. Today I discovered a whole rainbow of possibilities only in Japan's candy aisle. Family Mart exclusive Rainbow Cube gummies. Dropped for Pride Month, and thankfully these don't just say lorem ipsum on the back. My wife called these boots the house down gummies. Not 100% sure what that means, but it seemed positive. 3 flavors, one of which I've never seen during my late night candy aisle prowling. Not quite enough to taste the rainbow, but still selling it better than Darkened Sky ever did. Starting with the new kids, slight bitterness, rich sweetness, and balanced acidity, wrapped in a chewy cube with a weirdly starchy outer layer. Turns out it's blood orange, and I now want to replace every orange gummy in Japan with this immediately. Grapefruit usually tastes like punishment, like how some people get soapy cilantro, but this one's clean, sweet, sour, and just a little bitter on the back end. Then there's grape. Sweet, punchy, intensely grape. Like shotgunning a Welch's juice box to assert playground dominance, but I'm still left favoring Roy G, and after trying so much grape in these videos, Biv's doing its absolute best to give me Stockholm Syndrome. The secret to unlimited power? Discovered in Japan's candy aisle. A 7-Eleven Japan exclusive Gummy Evolution, and according to the package, they've cracked the Gummy code, claiming that Gummy multiplied by sweets equals infinity. I punched it into my TI-86, and the math checks out. 4 different shapes in the evolutionary process: Beta, Theta, Lambda, and Omega, sounding more and more like a BlazBlue character roster and leaving me with about the same number of questions as one. The gummies sugar-coated and stretchy on the outside, inspired by Daifuku. Somewhere between a chewy and sweet almond sugar cookie and a straight shot of amaretto I accidentally threw extra sugar into. The core's based on almond tofu with a surprisingly welcome sweet nuttiness. Something I've never had in gummy form, but it's a far better evolution than the Dragon Ball kind. Tired of drinking your energy? Japan's candy aisle has made it both chewable and dangerous. Take the hardest gummies around, then spike them with caffeine, royal jelly, and B vitamins. Basically pre-workout in candy form. Starting with fruit emotion. Hardness at a max 5 out of 5. Caffeine 59 milligrams per bag. Not quite a cup of coffee, but enough to get things moving. Flavor hits like a sweet and tangy citrus mix of peach, muscat, grape, and orange. And besides the I just like the Switch cartridge aftertaste, it's not too bad. The OG flavor is just called energy drink. Green apple meets bubblegum meets citrus meets chemical X. About as close to a can of Monsters you can get in gummy form. I could never quite get past the chemical weirdness, but I've seen Sam Bridges chug 3 cans without blinking, so clearly it's for someone. But if you prefer your gummies screw attack powered, they went even further beyond. The Mega Spark. Labeled 5+ toughness with a warning for the frail and unwilling. One bite and immediately felt like citrus battery acid detonated on my tongue. Like chewing caffeinated tough jerky that hates you more than AM's 387 million miles of circuitry. Less of a snack, more of a dare, but if you're tired of drinking your energy, chewing this will wake you up with a slap to the face. If you're unlucky enough to find yourself in Japan during the peak of summer, just make your way to the candy aisle. Sharirito gummies, or sharirit. Bandai Namco's latest strategy to keep me from melting into the sidewalk. Based on sorbet, and shari means they should be nice and crunchy. 2 flavors, 2 textures, both suggesting I eat them chill. Starting with the snowflakes, a matte exterior, not really crunchy but thick enough to add texture. Inside, a very firm yet mild jelly, bubblegum with trace amounts of citrus. A little plain, but give it a paid vacation to my fridge and it's tough. I'm not sure what I expected. The shell does get crunchier and the cold jelly's refreshing enough. Meanwhile, I would have gladly taken a bag filled to the brim with these lemon cones. Soft and squishy, coated in crunchy, slightly sour crystal. The lemon itself is punchy and sweet, but it's missing something. Send them down the Mario 64 ice slide that destroyed my younger self, and you've got a thickened jelly texture for a satisfying bite, reminding me of frozen lemonade. One more step toward air conditioning in gummy form. One of Japan's most iconic summer desserts just got the candy aisle treatment, but can it beat the original? Melon bars. Japan's dual melon staple for over 40 years, versus their tiny gummy challengers that are supposedly even better frozen. Starting with a classic watermelon bar, big. Somehow I've avoided this until now, despite the packaging being graced by Suika Bar Man. Ranked number 49 in the United Assassins Association before retiring to sell popsicle. The bar is juicy and sweet but keeps things light, not too sticky or syrupy. And even the crispy chocolate seeds are edible, so Chucky Finster can relax. Normally the hero duo features honeydew, but this year 7-Eleven swapped it for bright cantaloupe. It's packed with creamy white chocolate bits, and the orange brings a richer sweetness. But I swear the rind tastes like it has less flavor in it. Both are near perfection for a sweltering day, but the gummies bring their own powers. Soft and coated in crunchy sugar crystals. Sweet watermelon returns, but with a weird artificial aftertaste the bar avoids. avoided. But honeydew steals the spotlight. Didn't get the cantaloupe memo, but delivers a sweet, juicy flavor that keeps things mellow. Freeze them and they turn to mini melon pops, crunchy, cold, and refreshing. But it still doesn't live up to Suigabar Man's original fruity justice. Japan's summer festivals usually involve food, games, and sometimes regret, so the candy aisle gave me all three to go. Hoppin' Cookin', Summer Matsuri Edition. Ranked 4 out of 5 in difficulty, and I can't even drag a social link along for backup. First up, the candied apples. The powder had an apple smell so strong I thought only possible by snorting pixie sticks, and mixing it turned into a shiny, gelatinous blob. Tuck those away for later, and on to corn. The base is just taffy, impossible to mess up, but the sugar pellet kernel, no idea how you're supposed to get them on even. 2 cursed corns later, and it was time for the shaved ice. A powdered base I kept flinging all over the place, and of course the instructions said mix 100 times. The somehow still fluffy mixture wouldn't be complete without a generous splash of what I can only describe as blue repulsion gel. Next, bouncing on over to the choco banana powder, it smells like old banana candy and turned into a chunky yellow paste. The mold's doing its best to make it some semblance of a banana, and nothing was stopping me from adding chocolate sauce and a reckless amount of sprinkles. Finally, time to eat, and it looks... Candy apple, firm jelly, pure apple sweetness, relatively inoffensive. Corn, grape Laffy Taffy and cosplay, sugar pellets included. Banana, chunky, textural abomination, and 100% artificial banana. But in my time of need, the shaved ice pulled through. Pineapple, citrus, and coconut on a crunchy sugar base. 1,000 times more edible than the pizza kit, but that's not saying much. Most gummies don't show up wearing a whole suit of armor, but Japan's candy aisle showed me how wrong I was. 3 gummies, all determined to add a little crunch to your chew. Starting with the go-to snack of ninja salarymen, Iron Armor Gummies. It might be coincidence, but I see people buy this brand a lot, and I expected glossy gumball shape, but got ironclad green teeth instead. Wearing more armor than Robert's dad, but instead of a bridge, these require your jaw at 100% power to crack open. Break through and you're rewarded with a firm muscat jelly. Sweet, slightly floral, and thankfully less combative. A little too armored, but these Zakurame gummies strike a better balance. Crunchy sugar coating with a juicy, chewy cider core. The outside snaps like a rock candy shell, and inside, springy lemon lime soda with real bounce. But for the absolute limit of chewy fluffiness combined with a smaller crunch, Kirafua Gummy. Literally sparkly and fluffy. Surprisingly vibrant purple stars, soft as marshmallows with an outside that got the full bedazzled treatment. And unlike rhinestone-coated jeans, these actually taste good. Grape, that strikes a balance between mildly sweet, a little sour, and against all odds, I'll give it to the grape lovers this time. Today, Japan's candy aisle fulfills my childhood dream of eating a cloud. Soft and fluffy cloud and snow gummies in 3 strange and squishy flavors. Starting with plain white clouds, plus a chance of vaguely unicorn-shaped anomalies and other suspiciously cute shapes. And while I don't usually go for peep-style sugar-coated marshmallows, these showed me I was about as wrong as thinking a cloud is actually a frog. The texture lands halfway between gummy and marshmallow, fluffy, chewy, and still just a little juicy. Between the lucky sheep and the creamy white soda flavor with added tartness and the style of Japan's signature yogurt soda Kalpis, these were already overachieving. Next up, they say don't eat the yellow clouds, but this slightly out of place bench gave me a lapse in judgment. Same springy chew, but this time with a very welcome bright yuzu soda flavor. Slightly floral, tart, lemon-like citrus, accompanied by a new feline friend. And while these snowflake gummies aren't technically a cloud, my local weatherman said this was close enough. The second you open the bag, the unmistakable Japanese soda scent hits. I have no idea what shape this is supposed to be. A fizzy citrus bubblegum blend that's almost cooling, and while it's chewier than a real cloud, it's also much more satisfying. Japan's 50-year-old crunked up classic has stared me down the candy aisle for far too long. Crunky, chocolate meets crunchy cookie. In 6 chocolatey forms, and it's time to decide who's worth getting crunk with on a Saturday night with Chop Chop Master Onion. Starting with the original Crunky bar, sweet and creamy, simple yet effective, and packed with those signature crispy malt puffs that give it a satisfying bite. Then condense it all into bite-sized chocolatey Crunky balls. Chocolate corn puffs with a milk chocolate coat. Airier, but missing that satisfying bar crunch. Crunky potato is slightly weirder but welcome and takes things in a saltier direction. Think crispy chip bits dipped in chocolate. Strange cross-section, but finally a sweet and salty flavor contrast. Cookies and cream Crunky balls bring out the white chocolate. Hard, sweet orbs hiding Cocoa Puffs. Still crunchy, but I miss those big honkin' bar chunks. Strawberry Crunky swaps out the soul for a one-note berry puff. Sweet strawberry with a hint of chocolate and not much else. But the real choice wasn't one of the chocolatey balls at all. Crunchy and addicting Crunky. Easily confused with every other name here, and it's the full package all in one. Legally distinct Oreo bits, pretzels, crunchy malt puffs, and just a pinch of salt to tie it all together. Japan's candy aisle just upgraded its optional fishing minigame, Fishing Gummies 2.0, claiming the fish you catch yourself always taste better. No crossover brand, just a brand new impossible to remove peripheral rivaling the eye toy in usefulness. Not a super rod or a rare goldenrod, but this double-sided blue one will have to do. Even the bag comes with 2 tear points, hard mode and easy mode. And compared to catching the ruby dragon in the ruby sea, I figured this wouldn't be so bad. And one eternity later, the yellow anglerfish is finally served. Sweet, sour, and packing a punchy lemon hit. Definitely preferred this over the soda version, which leaned more bubblegum than citrus, and naturally they only gave me 1 lemon fish. But now for a chance to use my new ability for the original challenge, reel in the fish without breaking the line. 4 difficulty levels, including 1 secret level, and if that's too easy, they even make a version boasting extreme difficulty. Figured it'd be simple until they hit me with 3 fish at once. This level 1 triple line might be lying, but still the fizzy soda line held up. The line itself is still a sweet soda taste, but with a welcome amount of citrus. Way slicker than the last batch and almost snapped at the final straggler. Each fish was a clean burst of sweet orange citrus. And with the line looking like it's ready to break, I'm left wondering what level 4 would look like. Japan's candy aisle just dropped a tasty time capsule designed to make me feel ancient. The Heisei Gal box. By gals, for gals, maybe. The Heisei era of Japan is full of 90s and 2000s nostalgia, which explains why this looks like it was blingy for my Neopets Guild's homepage. Yeah, 3 explosive flavors of chocolate. And first up inside, a flavor I've never experienced in chocolate form, teenage tropical soda. Not even gonna try to unpack the first third of that. But it's a sweet soda chocolate shell with a tangy fruit punch blend inside, banana leading the charge, and a surprise attack of pop rock. One of the few times I've actually liked banana flavored candy. But for every surprise win, there's a tragedy to rival the Habbo Hotel pool being closed. Princess style fashion in strawberry form. It's got crispy chocolate puffs, but the strawberry chocolate is so aggressively artificial it basically turns into a medicine strong enough to slay the princess. But then comes the tiebreaker. A creamy, sweet coconut flavor with a name I'm not sure I can do justice. Something along the lines of insanely photogenic eternal summer coconut, wrapped around a buttery, crispy biscuit, my favorite chocolate sidekick. And if Heisei means more tropical and more coconut, then maybe we really do need to go back. Japan's candy aisle may have humbled me 3 times already, but it's about time for Chikawa to give me a clean break. Chikawa Kyarapaki. 4 chocolate flavors, 8 breakable blobs, and 3 headliners I see more than my own reflection. The goal is simple. Crack the chocolate, don't crack the character. No secret cow level, no hidden 15th wish, just one deceptively easy looking chocolate brick staring back at me. And first up, Kurimanju. Just a round honey badger with a drinking problem and crispy rice puffs ready to backstab me. And against all odds, finally, Kurimanju came out clean enough, blueberry tag intact. Fruity blueberry that weirdly reminds me of Captain Crunch. And I'm glad I grabbed 3 because I already pulled a dupe out of 8, but lightning struck twice, perfect again, and I'm not complaining about extra white chocolate. And just when I thought I would get a triple, Rocco shows up. Each color is a different sweet chocolate. Smooth milk chocolate, creamy white chocolate, and a very sweet strawberry. No tanginess, just full-on candy. Soft strawberry cheeks, same fragile body, but another flawless execution. 4 videos of tasty chocolate later, and I should have started here. Japan's candy aisle has reached its biggest gummy form yet. The largest double-flavored 2-for-1 BOGO special round, big and mega gummy. Starting with the 3 bottles that contain a flavor mix I hadn't considered. Each side a different flavor, starting at the top with juicy, sweet green melon. And the bottom is exactly what I want from a cola flavor, a spicy twist of ginger. Combine both for a satisfying bite of warm sharpness, finishing with sweet honeydew. And after that last bite, I was primed for a bold and wild soda to dethrone Sunset Sarsaparilla. But instead, the coward served up the usual mellow, slightly sweet cola, same all the way down. Lemon leans a little left, but I'm told that's normal. An extremely chewy and stretchy bottle that's 100% sweet, juicy lemon at the top, and the ginger cola is back at the bottom to amp it up again. And for 2 out of 3, this big gummy has some mega-sized shoes to fill, and while it may stretch with the best of them, the dense and chewy center is the same all the way across. No matter which way you take a chunk out of it, it's a nice and fizzy, sweet citrus flavor. And combining them in the classic soda fountain move feels like the next logical step. May not come close to the combined flavor experience of a Sonic Purple O, but it winds up somewhere between a nice citrus and the full concentrated power of the sun. The hardest level of Japan's optional fishing minigame just dropped right in the candy aisle. Fishing Gummies, level max. 2 packs, 2 chances on the road to victory. 8 random fish, including a secret stage and 2 others marked level max. All you have to do is fish up the gummy without breaking the line. And if I can guide the fish in Ymir Force to give me fruit, I can guide one out of a plastic tray with my patent-pending tiny fishing rod. Starting with some sort of cephalopod challenge. Level 3, that means 3 yellow mines where the cola-flavored gummy line loves to snap. And while the first area was easy, the second mine just won't forgive. This was actually the first time I've ever seen the line break. And that was the easier version. Now I'm stuck facing the level max Megalodon, which does not bode well. I decided to hold it upside down for the rest of the video. Not because I'm dumb, but definitely because I'm traumatized by too many sharks chasing me as Fish Will Smith. Somehow seemed even easier until the very last second. After all these other versions, I genuinely didn't think you could fail these, but the catch of the day is a welcome, bright, sweet and sour lemon paired with mellow cola, with a gelatinous texture straight out of those old TMNT jellies at the KB Toys checkout counter. The team up of the century right in Japan's candy aisle. Pompadours, sombreros, ponchos, and 7 flavors of gummy. 3 types of Candamina gummies, starring their signature mascot, a guy with a sombrero for reasons unknown. First, a pompadour fit for sweet JP, and coated in my favorite thing to see on a gummy, a liberal amount of sour crystal. Just like a shot of NOS, a punchy ginger ale kick that starts with plenty of sour. Next, the super best lineup. Not enough to replace the Matt and Pat shaped hole in my heart, but Ramune is here to try. Extremely hard and chewy, bright citrus giving my jaw a full workout. Grape, soda. Between the fizziness and sourness, the usual sweet artificial purple gets reined in. Cola hits with a sour burst and mellow tanginess after, but I don't think it deserves super best after these next one. W Impact. Double the thickness, infinitely more guarana. 3 energy flavors, all shaped like a W. Japan's classic orange energy drink, like a citrus tangy Red Bull with the same lingering chemical flavor. White energy soda was the solution I needed. More room for sour and citrus, and it benches the weird energy drink taste. Purple energy soda, a long way of saying grape. Never seen grape energy drinks here, but the sourness works surprisingly well with the usual sweetness. And for those of us who don't want beef jerky level chewiness, the Wumbo Wit softens things up just enough. Japan's candy aisle just hit me with its most difficult DIY challenge yet. Poppin' Cookin' Chocolatier. Rated 5 out of 5 stars for difficulty, ensuring my wife cackles behind me the entire time. It's a whopping 14 steps to make one full dessert tray. After cutting out the mold, step 1 is simple. Fill them with something reminiscent of Betty Crocker frosting packet, so that might be doing Betty a disservice. Chocolate goes in the fridge to cool, then it's strawberry jelly time. But it sets fast, so I need to be less labyrinth zone, more city escape. Next up, the mousse. Mousses? Meese? The result looks like a sludgy potion not fit for human consumption. Then chocolate mousse, but these two moussins still aren't done. Quick intermission to pop the chocolates out, and they actually look better than expected. Orange jelly's next. Stir fast. Just barely made it into the fruit mold before solidifying, and not the chocolate heart. Too late for regrets, slap it on the chocolate mousse and keep going. Now for the caramel topping. Smells so medicinal it triggered a fight or flight response, and naturally I put it on the round chocolate. Sugar packet for the remaining chocolate in the brownie cake pan thing seemed like way too much, but I swear this was intentional. Final appearance may be one step away from Barry's Jill sandwich, but I'm sure it's better than it looks. Starting with strawberry mousse. Jelly top tastes like Kool-Aid in gelatinous form, but the grainy, toothachingly sweet mousse below made my wife immediately spit her piece out. Orange heart, very sweet citrus, artificial chocolate, somehow still palatable. Orange mousse. Citrus plus low-grade mousse equals high-level acid disaster. Caramel tart should be renamed a chemical tart. Tastes like liquid medicine from my childhood mixed with a side of grainy, but maybe that's my fault. And the brownie cake thing, maybe it's the pound of sugar talking, but it's fudgy enough that I'd actually say, not bad. Japan's meeting of the minds between bottled tea and the publisher of Elden Ring, only in the candy aisle. A Lipton Bandai team-up was one of the last things I expected to see in gummy form. 4 different gummies and a bonus gotcha pull, one of 8 random Lipton keychain. Boys been more of a pick up 2 cans of Arizona before the Torchlight LAN party kind of guy, but the second I opened the bag, I got hit by a wave of nostalgia. The exact sweet smell of canned brisk, only now realizing it's the same company. They lose a few creativity points for just printing the logo onto a gummy. But despite thinking I'd burned out on this flavor years ago, the classic Arnold Palmer works shockingly well in soft, chewable form. Sweet lemon up front with a mellow black tea finish underneath. Nailed the flavor and doesn't come with that weird sugar coating that leaves your teeth feeling like they've been dusted with sandpaper. But it wouldn't be Japan without the gotcha factor, and pulling the lemon tea carton would feel just right. And there goes my built-up pity for the next 90 gummies. Never had tea out of a carton, but there's something weirdly satisfying about a translucent lemon and tiny nutritional fact. Japan's floppiest and strangest collabs just hit the candy aisle. 2 gummies from characters who are huge in Japan, and probably question marks everywhere else. First up, Umpochamu. Available in 7 shapes, including his loyal duck sidekick. Umpochamu is also Japan's latest addition to Tamagotchi, making me question both what year it is and how long my virtual pet's been and starving. A yogurt fairy designed by artist Kawaii Solni. And man, I had one job for the flavor, and they actually got it right. Yogurt flavor for the yogurt fairy. Soft, chewy, a little too artificial and sweet instead of creamy, with just enough acidity to feel like a real spoonful. Meanwhile, Crayon Shin-chan brings us the long floppy alternative. Bochan Snot Gummy. One step away from the Queasy Bake Oven novelties I used to make while booting up Shrek Super Slam. Not sure if the matte, starchy texture makes it better, or just less disturbing than if it were glossy and oily. Thick, stretchy, and blue, but not the usual fizzy blue soda, but more cider. Not the apple beverage either, but Japan's kind of cider. Not as punchy as I thought it would be, but the citrus starts sweet and lingers, thankfully tasting much better than the source material. The crunchiest bolt of lightning in Japan's candy aisle is back in two new forms. Black Thunder, one of Japan's top-selling candy bars, now celebrating 30 years. The OG Black Thunder, a dense cookie block covered in semi-sweet chocolate that still lets the cocoa shine through, packed with biscuit bits for extra crunch. Immediately a winner for taste and for being the cheapest thing I've ever shown in these videos. But Family Mart asks, will it blend? The Black Thunder Frappe, complete with a rocky cavern to give Timberhearth a run for its money. Crush it up, add milk, use Go-Go Gadget blender. Very chocolate but not as rich as I wanted. Should have picked the straw with more girth to suck up the crispy cookie bits. Now for a collab that should have happened 30 years ago, Black Mont Blanc Black Thunder. A little redundant, and Black Mont Blanc is usually an ice cream bar coated in crunchy bits and filled with vanilla ice cream. Replace the inside with the power of Black Thunder and this combo suddenly makes perfect sense. Creamy chocolate ice cream, crunchy chocolate cookies, and airy crispy biscuit pieces all over the place. Like a drumstick ice cream cone, but with all the textures crunked up to a 10. Combined for maximum creamy, maximum crunchy. And for all those times I chose Crunky chocolate in the past, I should have picked Black Thunder. I was pulled right back into the fourth dimension, all thanks to the latest in Japan's candy aisle. Two new 4D gummies, with the fourth D being Dot's jurisdiction if you ask Gomez. First, the bag simply titled The Journey's Magic Hour. Clearly a small typo for Sunset on the Beach. Opening the bag smelled like a fantastic fruit medley, and I hoped for a Mai Tai, but found myself with something closer to a virgin screwdriver. A slippery, chewy mocktail that's 90% slightly acidic orange, 9% sweet mango pineapple blend, and 1% faint medicinal twist. Didn't ruin it, but it wasn't the tropical mix I expected. Then came Magic Stone, Episode 2, Meteor Mirror and the Magic Stone. Appropriately named for something that looks like it could be hidden in Meteor Herd. Each gummy is a luminous azure stone, close enough to an emerald. Same glossy look, but less slippery. More grip, more rip, more tear. Like a semi-firm jelly gem with structural integrity. Very subtle floral flavor that is not overly sweet, even going as far to be slightly creamy. Despite my high lychee standards, this one pulls it off. A texture flavor 1-2 combo that sticks the landing, making these the best 4D gummies yet. Japan's tiniest gummies around have returned to the candy aisle in an all-new form. Pokepuni Fruit Gummy. 4 different flavors, 20 different Pokemon in teeny tiny gummy form, and rumor has it Ditto the Imposter appears as number 21. A rare chance to get a Mew alongside all the usual fan favorites, except I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about Tinkatink. First up, Mandarin Orange, and Ditto the missing number 21 already spotted. Soft and semi-chewy, with orange tang buckling up for a ride with juicy sweetness, thanks to each one using actual fruit concentrate. Red Apple paired with Charizard only felt right, but trade the flames for a splash of sweet with a very slightly tart, combined with tiny mouth shovable size, and I'm already reaching for the next one. Muscat Grape. Owlet and Leafeon, perfect for the job. Meanwhile, Cinderace as green feels about as off as Kelsier getting his game debut in Fortnite. Muscat tones down the acidity of its purple cousin in favor of a slightly floral, sweeter taste. And defying all rhyme or reason, not the blue soda flavor I've come to expect, but instead the glorious, juicy, lumberry equivalent to heal all my ailments, lychee. Sweet, tropical, and refreshing flavor that'll put Shuckle Juice out of business, but of course they gave me the least amount of these. Searching for pasta in Japan led me right back to the candy aisle. Fettuccine gummies. As far away as possible from Italian dining, seen these for years, but the latest flavors finally wore me down. First to catch my pasta discerning eye, fruit tea. Soft, stretchy strips coated in sourness, making each bite that much sharper. Fruit here means sweet peach and juicy mango. Balanced out by black tea with just enough mellow bitterness to keep the sweetness from totally taking over for a gummy I'd go back to. Lemon of the Italian variety. Brighter, sweeter, and it has a softer citrus bite, plus a floral, almost sunny taste that makes it stand out compared to the lemon gummies of the past. And why this next one has fettuccine written in English will forever be a mystery. But then it throws in a bold splash of blue soda. Sour up front, citrus in the middle, and a bubblegum aftertaste that leaves before the moon hits your eye. Premium peach pineapple, not to be confused with peach and pineapple. At first I was prepared for a bear with a bird on his back style fruit duo, but it turns out that this is one single unit and not a team. Okinawa's peach pineapple supposedly smells exactly like a peach, and with juice straight from the source you get a noodle that's intensely sweet even after calling in the sour backup. The only thing missing is the core memory of my dad telling the waiter I like my pasta al dente. latte. In celebration of Japan getting koalas, the candy aisle decided the most respectful thing to do was to eat them. Koalas March. First made in 1984, sweet little biscuits I used to buy as a kid at World Market. Suspiciously similar to Meiji's Hello Panda, but with more tiny Australians than Taiga Chica Boomerang at. 4 flavors in this run, and the only way to begin is by beginning at the beginning with the original biscuit. Thin crispy shell wrapped around a semi-sweet chocolate filling, and far more addicting than anything with a marsupial on it should be. Next, the new seasonal flavor, condensed milk. Basically white chocolate and everything but the name. So sweet it almost distracted me from over 600 printed koala designs, including a snake worm sock puppet chimera, and I'm told there's even one suffering from appendicitis, yet still no Koala Kong hitting the gym. Then the whole wheat flour version, same chocolate center but the shell swapped to whole wheat with hazelnuts and cinnamon. The spice may be missing in action, but the nutty, bready flavor makes itself known like my love for multigrain and its extended family. The pink strawberry koalas go in a pinker, sweeter, strawberryer direction. Sweetness that slaps my hand away every time I raise it to ask for a sign of tartness, and maybe it's just the nostalgia talking, but you just can't beat the classic chocolate. Revenge is a dish best served 18 years later by Japan's candy aisle. Bandai Namco at it again with Tamagotchi Gacha Candy, with a through the ages lineup of 12 different impossible to pull off random keychains, featuring the characters buried like glittering gold, trinkets and baubles in the darkest nostalgia dungeon of my mind. Surprisingly not gummies, instead egg biscuits, and finally for all the never-ending cleaning and feeding, I can finally just eat the eggs before the hope and despair gauge starts acting up. Sweet white chocolate outside, with a crispy airy biscuit inner that turned out to have a mild malty taste, giving it more of a fresh baked or toasted flavor. Perfectly acceptable, but we all know I'm here for the chance at a teeny tiny first generation Tamagotchi keychain. First up, already nailing the 1 in 4 chance at a blast from the past without any of the constant need for food. Thought I was content already, but may have spoke too soon, as this next one may have been the best out of all 12. Didn't think it could get much better, but the first print with the little guy inside forever resting in peace with tiny info on the back couldn't ask for much more. One of Japan's famous candy aisle science experiments just took on a new form. From the masterminds behind Poppin' Cookin' and 40 years ahead of Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop, this is Neru 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 Ne. Starting with the original 1-star difficulty, impossible to mess up. Add water and the first very grape smelling base powder for an instant sludge. But packet 2 is where the action starts. And while I'd be lying if I said mixing this into a thick slime wasn't satisfying, that's where the fun stops. Combine sugar with crunchy sugar shaped from pack 3 for an onslaught of slimy sweetness so powerful, so diabolical. I could barely even taste the hint of tart purple grape begging for mercy on the other side. The one time I wish the flavor was a stronger grape, because this turned out to be straight chemicals. And now with my expectations at rock bottom, the Family Mart exclusive drink version of Neru 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 Ne. Step 1 said to shake it. Surely it'll fare better on its climb for a taste score higher than 0, even without Bennett Foddy to monologue over it. At first, a soft jelly with a somewhat mild blue soda flavor, a blend of sweet citrus, but maybe everything tastes mild after that slime. Add in the flavor changer to immediately shift things over and mix it into a frothy purple grape, turbocharged with carbonation like fizz thanks to the second goodie bag. Stronger grape flavor with plenty of acidity and tartness and a strange aftertaste similar to Monster Energy drink, making this a potion I probably would not sell you even if you were going into battle. Japan's bringing me back to the Mesozoic era to face the original candy aisle challenge, Karapaki Fossil Excavation Edition. My favorite chocolate with a challenge, appropriately now with more calcium. 3 difficulty levels, plus 1 secret level that I have still yet to see across any of these challenges. Starting out at level 2, featuring the star of my favorite no internet connection browser game. And after tackling the other collab versions on Ibis Island, I'm not too worried. Main issue is the crispy rice puffs inside the sweet chocolate having a mind of their own. And there goes the arms, but T-Rexes don't really use those anyways. Or legs. The fossil itself is sweet white chocolate, and it lacks that strange acidity you might expect from a chocolate so cheap. Could have gone better, but that's just level 2 and things only get tougher from here. And after yesterday, Dan is 2 for 2 because this is level 3, the Stegosaurus, with a little extra challenge of safely getting the milk chocolate trilobite out. Little guy made it, and the Stegosaurus looked good right until the final stretch. And while I may miss the extra flavors of the collab ones, the humble trilobite holds its own with milk chocolate. Thought of finding the secret one in the perfect ratio of crispy crunchy texture always has me coming back for more. One of Japan's favorite characters teamed up with the candy aisle to bring me to the 4th dimension. 4D Mumen Gummies, the full name clearly being Duke Devlin's Dungeon Dice Mumen. And despite having having Finnish roots, Mumen's been big in Japan since the 60s. So it was only a matter of time until he got the Phyrexian oil slick gummy treatment. A whopping 5. Seemingly Japan exclusive, but cursed with being sugar-free. Stretchy and semi-chewy, like a solid firm block of jelly, the same all the way down to the tree stump core. And despite my doubts, Mumen mostly delivered with a sweet yet mild blueberry, a little one note, lacking any sort of tartness, but thankfully also lacking any kind of weird sugar alternative aftertaste. Why Mumen chose blueberry must be a trade secret, but at least 4D keeps breaking free from the soda and grape monopoly. The legendary Japanese candy aisle will stop at nothing to trap every species inside of an egg. Peelable chick gummies team up with Dino egg gummies to remind them who they are. Starting with the latest friend of II, a duck that looks like he belongs in a bathtub. Finally fulfilling my childhood dream of cracking open those bouncy balls with Pokemon figures trapped inside. The outer peelable shell is a chewy, tougher jelly with a sweet and juicy mango flavor. Tasty but much milder than the little guy inside. Free the duck itself and you'll get to a softer, creamier mango jelly. Effective but simple compared to the 14 different dinos buried within these eggs. Of course, it wouldn't be Bandai Namco without a gotcha element, the rare, paleontologist approved golden dragon fossil. Chocolate on gummies may sound a little weird, but the strawberry gummy inside adds chew and flavors the chocolate with extra, very artificial strawberry sweetness. Even pulled the rare cookies and cream egg with crispy cocoa bits and white chocolate. At first I thought it meant I'd won the dragon lottery until I realized it just shows up sometimes. Still better than the default chocolate, and I'll take this as definitive proof the duck has evolved into something far tastier than its ancestors. Turns out even Japan's candy aisle has a new optional fishing minigame. Pokemon Fishing Gummies, finally back with new flavors across 12 different water-type Pokemon. Each pack includes one of 3 difficulty levels, and of course there's a secret level with a hidden mon. Starting with the level 1 difficulty, underdog of the ocean, Magikarp. Bill's PC is probably already packed with about 200 of the little guys, so what's one more? You just pull the gummy Pokemon out with the soda-flavored gummy line without it breaking or turning to ash. Level 1 was simple enough, but after R5ing the catch, I thought I would have quit fishing forever by now. But in an act of what must have been Poke Fate, Gyarados surfaces as a level 3 challenge to perfectly complement Magikarp, and I just couldn't say no. Despite being level 3, it almost looks simpler than its splash-using predecessor, but maybe looks are deceiving. But it turns out the only thing deceiving was the color. It looked lemon yellow, but quickly reveals itself to be a surprisingly tart muscat grape, sweet and just a little floral, paired with a gummy texture that's closer to wet jelly. The line itself is made of a refreshing fizzy citrus soda, and maybe one day the candy aisle will show mercy and finally let me showcase a secret level. Fan said Gen Z wants one thing, and it's cute mascot characters, and where else but the candy aisle. Today's candy concoction, Lovey's Gummies, each bag coming with one of 14 rubber mascot keychains, and Bandai makes a mean keychain. Keychains featuring a hot dog eating its own kind and getting absolutely schmixed on snacks and soda. Another series quickly climbing the popularity ladder of little blob guys doing wholesome blob things, claiming to be extremely popular with Gen Z. It's become painfully clear to me now that all Bandai gummies are going to be this soft, bouncy type, but at least the flavor feels fresh. 2 different colors and characters, but the same apple yogurt flavor throughout, combining a sweet and slightly sour apple with the tangy creaminess of Big Dairy making its move, including an easier to pull keychain this time, so maybe they heard my previous lamenting. Round 1, a character I knew nothing about until 10 seconds ago, Urudu. Not the one I was looking for, but clearly the people yearn for cute characters, so why is Sega still sleeping on the Chow Garden? Round 2 features the 2 lead characters, Sumopi and Pyonchi, although I'd be lying if I said I didn't want the one featuring hot dog cannibalism. My knowledge of Japan's candy aisle may have been a lie, and it's all thanks to these 3. Trying a Chikawa-fueled double feature, starting with Flower Fortune-Telling Gummies, aka the Loves Me Not game, which probably has a shorter name. Yoshi's go-to minigame, but doesn't hold a candle to Luigi in the casino. 4 types of gummies featuring the usual trio. All this feels strangely spring-coated and is giving me deja vu, but I swear I haven't eaten Chikawa Hachiwara Usagi in this form, probably. Soft, chewy, and sweet peach. Just like Bandai's other peach lineup, yet smaller gummies always feel more satisfying, but something is missing. Where is Usagi? My luck can only go up now at Chikawa Collection Card Gummies Volume 6. How did I miss 5 earlier versions of this? And good luck getting all 180 cards because each volume has 30 variants, including one hyper rare. Might not be the golden chocobo wearing the 1 ring, but I'm sure Post Malone will definitely want this outside studying attack plus 30 skill card. Regardless of the card, I'd gladly take more of the gummies. Thick jelly claiming to be mixed fruit. About as helpful as Illusory Wall ahead, but much tastier. Big Apple makes an appearance in what tastes like a slightly tart citrus fruit punch up front, settling into a mellow apple berry combo at the end. And with an entire Chikawa indoor park opening a few months prior, it's only a matter of time before I can survive solely off of Chikawa food product. The biggest failure ever recorded in Japan's candy aisle, and it might be all my fault. Super Mario Maker 2 Gummies. And just like the levels, you've got to build these yourself. At first glance, feels like Nintendo's version of Poppin' Cookin', with 6 seemingly simple steps on my path to inevitable destruction. Step 1, fill in the molds with a gummy powder with the world's tiniest spoon. That took me an embarrassing amount of time, but next the flavoring liquid, which not only colors the gummies, but turns the powder into a slimy gelatinous form, allegedly. Red strawberry, blue grape, yellow lemon, add water, mix a little, and use that dusty art degree to make orange, green, and brown. Instructions said they may not solidify right if you use too much liquid. May have happened here, but the bottom stayed powdery, so I have no idea what went wrong. Peeling out the sticky wet gummies was a triumph in itself, and my reward for the most scuffed level of all time is Floppy Bowser. So long, gay Bowser, you taste like wet slime rolled in sugar. The strawberry mushroom and the lemon coin both give the same general sweet candy taste, like Jello with 1% flavor, 200% sugar. It'd take a cosmic ray bit flip to save these at this point, but maybe the sparkly fizzy powder will come close second. Tart firecracker in your mouth. We can see the horrifying reaction take place in real time. Australia may have banned these, but that didn't stop Japan's candy aisle from turning them into gummies. A vague theme of 3 foods I didn't expect to see as gummies, but were made into gummies anyways. Starting with a very long-winded Hoshifurumachi no Shizuku no Hoseki Gumi, or gems growing on trees. Straight out of my Terraria gem tree farm, it's not elastic, but sticky and gummy with an almost powdery sugar coating. A surprisingly weak muscat flavor, a little floral, but mostly just pure sweetness. For the candy aisle's next trick, they have turned sorbet into gummies. A crispy, crunchy shell, exactly like biting down on shaved ice without the brain freeze. A little less sorbet, but reach the jelly core and sweet white peach shows up, and the texture's doing all the heavy lifting. And now single-use plastics reborn as Ranchamu Gummy. Based on those little fish soy sauce bottles I've only seen a few times and never will see if I find myself in South Australia. As much as I would have loved soy sauce and microplastic flavor, the chewy fish itself is white soda with a softer jelly texture on top. A very slightly creamy citrus flavor. Cola-filled variants add much needed sweet and tangy variety, and apparently Australia also got rid of fruit stickers and attached straws. Look forward to them in gummy form next week. Japan's candy aisle must have known there was one last chocolate challenge I hadn't tackled yet. Super Mario Kerapaki. Turned out to be the very first in this line of breakaway puzzle chocolates, but back in 2017, the Mushroom Kingdom could only afford 2 flavors. Break the character out of their chocolate prison across 3 different difficulty levels. And as a good luck charm, I brought out the one true voice actor from Mario and the gang, Charles Martinet. Starting with Luigi, not as neglected as Golden Sun, but he still deserves his time in the spotlight. Only to end up as Mario yet again. Fire Mario is level 2 in difficulty, but the crispy rice puff stuffed chocolate square tends to have a mind of its own. This is why I got 2, and I'm convinced it is impossible to safely remove the chocolate around his protruding schnoz safely. And in some kind of poetic justice, Luigi finally appears on the scene. Chilled it just to see what would happen, and I'm glad there is more the best flavor, the sweet brown caramel. At first seemed easier than Mario, but it always seems to be the neck and the arm. But no matter how damaged it is, the all-sweet, no-tart strawberry body loses no flavor. A little too artificial, but I won't say no to the smooth milk chocolate underneath, even if Charles was asleep at the wheel. The first time Japan's candy aisle has actually wanted me to know how terrible something is going to taste. Devil fruit gummies. Starting with Ace's Meta fruit. The flaming fruit should have been a sign, but the first chomp was a safe, sweet, and juicy mango. Not realizing I had grabbed a bomb from a pie factory, I offered one to my wife, and her expression told me all I needed to know. 3 out of 10 are booby-trapped, bitter, spicy, tongue-scorching nightmares hiding in the pack. When I finally landed one, it was like chasing mango with pure fire. With the initial trauma over, Luffy's Gum Gum fruit promises both grape and something much more sinister. But one bite into the chewy gummy and I'm back to opening up my mixed berry Welch's fruit snacks at the lunch table with a tangy mix of blueberry, strawberry, and probably Big Apple making an appearance. Even tried every single one looking for some kind of punishment, but it's oops all Welch's. The only thing I found about them online is someone lamenting that they tasted like penning, so you'll just have to take their word. Maybe that's just a bad batch, but Trafalgar's Ope fruit delivers weirdly on both fronts. Starting with a very mild, somewhat artificial strawberry, trace amounts of tartness, but I wouldn't hesitate to trade them all in for the devil fruit counterpart. What should have been a punishment fit for Mr. Stewart ended up a refreshing, cooling burst of mint layered on strawberry.